Welcome to Lemons World.
For extra lemons crap.
Let's take a couple of minutes and talk about the Chrysler LH platform.
Yes.
Now here at Lemons, there's a few chassis or a few models that we like to focus on because they're incredibly bad.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people think of doing well in Lemons, there's some obvious answers, BMWs, Miatas, whatever. And then there's some very not obvious answers. And Phil has done a good job of saying, you know, you really ought to bring this. We've never seen one, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so on that list is the Chrysler LH.
Right.
Which is a 90s sedan that was very, according to Chrysler, revolutionary at the time. They marketed
which
the hell
to
out of it.
Chrysler, let's be fair, just means they put it out there and it didn't immediately explode.
Right, exactly. And there were tons of commercials for this thing.
Yep.
It was basically just a sedan platform. It was front-wheel drive. It was versatile. It could be used for a lot of different things. And in fact, it showed up underneath various different cars.
Right. Now, I was doing magazine testing at the time, and I got to say, I drove these cars, and they were not bad cars. This was the car that was going to bring Detroit back, just like, oh, I don't know, the Chevy Celebrity was 5 years before that, and just like the A-Body was 5 years before that, and just like the Pinto was 5 years before that. Needless to say, Detroit still has not come back. We're still waiting, but the LH was not a terrible car. It did, however, rust. The transmission was, however, made out of cardboard. It had some problems.
Yeah, and this is why I have kind of a fundamental problem with the idea of initial quality. Now, this is something that J.D. Power hands out awards for.
Right.
And the reality is, a lot of things, especially cars, have great initial quality. When they're brand new, they're great.
Yeah, in fact, this thing, I think Road and Track did a comparison with the A6 and other stuff. And I think the 300M, which was one of the spin-offs of the LH, that won the comparison. So, you know, not an awful car when new.
Yeah, and what Road and Track didn't do was come back 10 years later and realize that it had gone to complete
Yeah.
So here we are in modern times, and they built and sold a lot of these cars, and there are none left.
Yeah.
And
there aren't even any left in junkyards. They're that long dead, they've already gotten out of the junkyards and back into the ground.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's on Phil's list of cars we want to see in Lemons because it's kind of under the radar. It's not as obvious as a Pinto,
right?
But it's really an awful car. You never see them anymore. And so Phil says, bring one to Lemons. And hey, we encourage that too, with the disclaimer of, if you do, you're probably going to have a lot of pain to deal with.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Lemons World.
Don't forget to subscribe.